If this is not enough to motivate you into pushing through and pursuing with whatever goals you have, I don't know what is. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Precious Molepo back with another video, and as you can see by this one's title, today I'm going to be talking about the story of Nonkululeko Gobodo. If you thought that the title was related to my life, I'm sorry to break it to you, it is not, but it is the life of a phenomenal woman that I am so excited to speak about in this video today. Very relevant, very in line with the CASA stream. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So I had the pleasure of meeting Nonkululeko Gobodo about a few weeks ago at a book signing / dinner, and her speech as well as what I took from her book left such an impression on me that I am so excited to share with you guys. So for those of you who don't know who she is the first Black woman to qualify as a chartered accountant in South Africa. Very big deal, extremely huge deal, considering that she qualified in the time of apartheid, and she faced so many challenges that she was able to overcome to qualifying as a chartered accountant. Some of those challenges I will be talking about in today's video. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. The book that I'm going to be making reference to in this video is called Awakened to My True Self by Nonkululeko Gobodo. I could not put this book down. I think I picked it up on Friday evening or Saturday morning, and I sat through the Saturday reading it. I sat through the Sunday reading it. What an incredible book. The first impression that I got when reading it, I won't even lie, I'm being honest now, it's just like her poor choice of adjectives in the beginning of the book, right? So maybe, I don't know, my mind was focusing on things that weren't quite important, not on the storyline. I was thinking about her choice of adjectives. But she did mention that she's an accountant, not a writer. But this book, listen, took me in. I could not put it down. My eyes were glued on its pages for the entire day and the entire day after that. So anyway, let's talk about some of the challenges she speaks on and some of the challenges she faced on her journey of becoming a chartered accountant. So first things first, let's talk about the environment she was in at the time she was pursuing her CASA stream, her CASA designation. So she was born in the time of apartheid. So Bantu education was in full swing. Bantu education was basically that Black people were taught basic education, were given basic education that wasn't sufficient to get them into tertiary institutions, etc., compared to their white counterparts, which resulted in like a huge gap in terms of professionals. You got more white professionals compared to Black professionals because of Bantu education, and a lot of the times Black people that were able to go and further their studies had their education supplemented one way or the other. Also, she didn't really have anybody to look up to when it came to roles that she wanted to aspire to. Like, she didn't know any Black chartered accountants, or it wasn't common to see a African chartered accountant. It's so difficult to create a vision of something when you're not seeing somebody that looks like yourself achieving those things. That is why people say representation is so important. Second major challenge she faced is the fact that she fell pregnant at the age of 17. She fell pregnant in grade 11. I was just thinking back, I was just trying to put myself in her shoes. If I had fallen pregnant in grade 11, I would have probably thrown in the towel. I don't think I would have gone back to high school, let alone gone to pursue CASA, right? So she fell pregnant in grade 11 and ended up getting married in grade 11. And this seems completely bizarre, right? Because I mean, you think back to yourself when you were 17 and in that situation, like in her shoes, like looking back at myself in grade 11, I was nowhere close to being ready to be married. I was nowhere close to being ready to have a child. And she took it, you know, and she took it as it was. She took it as this is her new responsibility. She took it as this is the new normal. And she still didn't let it stop her dream of becoming a chartered accountant. The second challenge that she faced was the fact that she failed matric. And this really gave me perspective into my life, because myself, as well as people around me and friends and people during articles and stuff like that, just take hiccups along the road so hard. And I'm not saying that trials and tribulations that other people are going through are less important than the ones she went through, but imagine failing matric. Like, that is your ticket to tertiary, you know, that is your ticket to tertiary education. And had I been in a position where I failed matric, I would have probably relooked everything, right? I would have relooked everything. I would have went to find a job. And she did find a job. She was privileged enough to be able to work in her father's company as a bookkeeper after she failed matric. And that is enough of a cushion to provide security for somebody not to want to continue to pursue something that has a possibility of another failure. And she didn't. She continued to pursue her matric. She went back, she did her matric, she passed it, and she got into university. And I don't know, I just feel like it's such a huge thing. Like, I don't even think I can even imagine failing matric, you know? It's such a big deal. There's so much weight on it. Like, everybody's waits for your matric results. It's just such a huge thing. And for her to be able to fail it, get up, dust herself off, and continue is something I found incredibly inspiring. The third challenge that she faced that I read about in her book was her self-esteem issues. So she was a middle child and suffered from what she calls middle child syndrome, feeling abandoned, unloved, etc. And on top of that, she had mother issues, mommy issues, and she felt like her mother didn't love her, didn't appreciate her, because she was always criticizing her. And this self-esteem issue, right, on top of falling pregnant at 17, failing matric, and then on top of that you have self-esteem issues and feel like you're not enough, yet she was able to like silence the naysayers and push ahead to continue to pursue her CAS issue. Guys, like, I mean, especially from someone who has gone through failure themselves, I am just like baffled to see that someone coming from that sort of those sort of trials and tribulations, was able to be the first Black South African to qualify as a chartered accountant is absolutely amazing. And on top of that, she went on to open her own firm, Gobodo Inc., and it is now known as SNG. Eventually, SNG merged with Grant Thornton, but it became SNG after it was Gobodo Inc., the SNG that we know. This is all a young lady who fell pregnant at 17, who failed matric, and who suffered major self-esteem issues. This is not enough to motivate you into pushing through and pursuing with whatever goals you have. I don't know what is. I really hope that hearing a little bit about her book has, you know, given you a nice taster to want to go and buy your own copy and go read about her incredible story. Like I said, I could not put this book down. You will not regret it, especially if you are in the field, because everything makes sense, okay? Like, she did her articles at an audit firm, something I can relate to. She faced ill treatment here and there. She you know, just things that are very relevant. She was preparing for the board course. She failed CTA, something I can relate to, yet she still managed to overcome and do big things with her life. Order her book, Awakened to My True Self, on Takeaot. It is on special. It's going for 285 Rand. Not too bad. Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And I was honored enough to get a little signature and a little message from her that basically says, Balisa, there are no limits. Very inspiring read, very inspiring interaction. I hope this video gave you a taste of all that is jam-packed within these pages. Go ahead and order yourself one. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. You know, thought maybe if there was somebody that is going through tough times, right, currently, not to make it final. This is a perfect example of failure just being an event in your life and failure not defining you, right? You're not a failure. Failure happens to you or happened to you. It doesn't define who you are. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.